Hey guys, it's me, and I'm back again with another video. Today, I'm going to be talking about Spider-Man, the PS4. Personally, one of my favorite games on the PS4, because it's just an amazing game to play. Today, I'm just going to be talking about the game in general, no scripts, no anything. Today, I'm just going to be highlighting the game in general, the mechanics, the fluidity, the story, everything about the game, basically, you know. And yeah, let's get started. So personally, to me, this game is a masterpiece, top tier, 10 out of 10. Even after its initial release in 2018, which saw the whole gaming, like, you know, industry like blow up on superhero games, which have always been a thing, but none to this degree. We have never seen a well done Spider-Man game besides Spider-Man 2, probably on like the PS1. And I want to take you guys back to a time where, well, my childhood, where, you know, you can basically see, like, you know, if you guys were around at that time during the early 2000s, you know, you would know about the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man, you know. Personally, one of my favorite and the best Spider-Man incarnation of all time. Not to take anything away from Andrew Garfield or Tom Holland, which are stupendous actors, you know. They are cream of the crop, top of the top, you know. But to me, just not Andrew Garfield, Tobey Maguire encapsulated everything that was Spider-Man. You know, everything about him was just, you know, so incredibly amazing, and, you know, everything is just, you know, the way how he did everything, the way how he did his stunts, you know, the way how he carried himself, albeit, you know, in a sense that, you know, was respectable, you know. And, you know, honestly, I feel like everybody, you know, enjoyed his performance as Spider-Man because it was the most natural. And, you know, obviously, you know, the movies were amazing. Well, apart from 3, you know, like 1 and 2 were, you know, the best iterations of Spider-Man, you know. So, you know what you're getting for. And I remember I was a little bit young at the time when the first 2 came out, but when I was, you know, when I was starting to grow up a little bit, I started watching the movies, and, you know, I just started to see for myself that, you know, that these versions is what you would read in the comic books, you know, the genuine reincarnation of it. And that's what the game delivers on as well, is already grown up Spider-Man, already done with, you know, his high school and college, you know, trying to make a better place in his New York, you know. Frankly, you know, frankly for myself, because I was born in New York, not in the city, you would think of Spider-Man immediately when anybody says New York. We'd be like, oh, you're from New York, so that's Spider-Man, right? Exactly. So today I just want to be touching upon, you know, the story, the game, and, you know, how it divides itself into. Because the game starts off pretty simple. You know, the game starts off as you being Spider-Man. You're waking up, you're late. Oh, well, spoilers for anybody who hasn't played this game, but, you know, I'm pretty sure everybody knows about it already and has probably watched it at some point. But yeah, the story, you know, is amazing from a, you know, single player point of view, and, you know, and everything about it is just great, you know. I personally enjoy it. I come back to this every so often and just roam around and just do random stuff like this, as you're seeing, you know, because I really enjoy the game. And honestly, who wouldn't? Even though I am thinking about going back to this game and 100% completing it. You know, I personally, you know, want to complete this game because it's, you know, a fun experience, and you guys should pick it up too if you guys are on the PS4 or PS5, because it is an amazing, you know, game. You know, I would consider it, you know, one of the best PS4 games.
More of them? For criminals, these guys have an impressive social circle.
Like, I just really think everybody should go out of their way to at least experience the game and play it, because it is a masterpiece, and quite honestly, and you know. Yeah, so I feel like everybody should just experience the game once, and you know, really just.
Stop that. Too many crazy drivers in the city.
Yeah. But after that, you know, everybody was very excited for when this game was announced at E3. So you know, that goes well, and the end of this game is just really heartbreaking. Well, the story-wise goes, as for the main game, very heartbreaking. You know, you get to see Peter just, you know, thinking about using the cure for his aunt to save her life. You know, as like, you know, which is not a very Spider-Man move to do, but you know, you can understand his frustration. You can see the pain that he has in his eyes when he's seeing when he has his aunt dying in front of him due to an attack that his own mentor started.
This pigeon knows the city better than I do.
You know, so I just feel like, you know, the DLCs expand upon really well the you know, the story, how you have not Kingpin, Hammerhead introduced. Silver Sable comes back and helps you defeat you know, what's his name, Hammerhead. Black Cat makes a return, who we haven't seen since the Amazing Spider-Man 2 and, you know, in the Andrew Garfield tie-in game, you know, back in 2012, I believe it was. I don't remember. I didn't play the Amazing Spider-Man games. But yeah, just overall the game just runs great, you know, is just an amazing game to either watch, play, you know, it's a very chill, relaxing game. Some parts of it though are kind of just boring, you know, the Miles Morales and the MJ parts could have been, you know, side quests. I feel like, not side quests, but like, you know, although they don't really serve a purpose to the game that much, you know, I guess it's just there to develop the story, which I get, you know, so, and just the ambiance and everything of, you know, New York City is just something that, you know, you just want to, you know, take in if you're not from here, you know.
Oh god, this is really starting to verge on stalking. Tango is active.
And just, you know, some of the fights like these, like the Silver Sable boss fight guys, you know, who are the most annoying, might I add, you know, they really do make you put up or shut up, you know, which is good intensity, because, you know, the game needs, you know, some bit of difficulty, which, you know, I feel like some other games lack in terms of, you know, for a single player, you know, perspective. You know, at least not Dark Souls or Bloodborne difficulty level, but, you know, still difficult in general, you know. And I feel like this game just really delivers on the game and how well the mechanics are, you know. And there's a lot of things to do in this game, and as you can tell, the suits are like a main thing in this game. This is the suit that I'm using that I just logged on today and found out. But there are tons of ways to play, tons of, like, you know, it just depends on your preference, you know. Everything in this game is built on preference. You know, just the suits in general. Like, you can take, for example, the dark suit, which you get by doing the Black Cat objectives. You know, the Iron Spider suit if you get the pre-order. The vintage comic suit, which is the you know, and then you have the Last Stand suit. You know, just all of these comic book themed suits. You know, like the Noir Spider-Man from Shattered Dimensions and from the comics. The Big Time suit that Spidey wore. You know, the Fear Itself suit from, you know, when he was imbued with Asgardian powers from, I think it was Odin. You know, then we have the 2099 suit, you know, personally my favorite Spider-Man of all time in the comics, you know, and then the Anti-Ox suit, which looks extremely badass, what I might add. You know, it's you know, pretty cool. And you have, you know, the Iron Spider suit from the movies. I don't know where the Velocity suit is from, but it looks pretty cool. The time where Spider-Man became Ghost Rider, you know, and all these other suits that I haven't unlocked yet, but we'll get around to doing so eventually when I come back to this game. Oh yeah, the Future Foundation suit, when Spider-Man was a member of the Future Foundation. The Bombastic Spider-Man suit, where he needed a suit, so he went to the Fantastic Four after his symbiote, and was like, yo, I need a suit. So they gave him a Fantastic Four suit with a paper bag over his head. Pretty hilarious. And you have the upgraded suit from the MCU, Tom Holland. You know, the original Sam Raimi, you know, Tobey Maguire outfit. Then you have the Amazing Spider-Man. Looks pretty cool, you know, not my favorite, but, you know, it's still pretty cool. The Arachnid, I don't know this one, if I'm being honest. Never seen this before in my life. Oh yeah, the stealth suit from well, not Amazing Spider-Man, but from the MCU movies. Spider armor from the comics, you know, it goes on and on. The Iron Spider suit from the cartoons, you know, and just, like, you know, you have all the suits, the suit powers, you know, and, you know, just everything in general. My favorite is Web Blossom. Bulletproof 2 is my favorite. All of these are just great in general. Oh yeah, and just, like, you know, mildly Easter eggs throughout this whole game, you know, and it's just great because, like, you can play however you want, really. And yeah, suit mods, you have, like, your gadgets. I have almost everything leveled up besides this one. I don't have the suspended matrix, but, you know. Yeah, and then everything in New York is just great. You know, you can take pictures, go to POIs, you know, do the beacons, because you need to restore, like, you know, the map to how it originally was supposed to be. You know, you can face Taskmaster if you know, get to that point, and, you know, just all of these amazing, beautiful stuff. You know, you can do tricks when you have a sense of progression. You know, you really do speaking of progression, you really do feel a sense of progression in this game. Not just character-wise, but, like, you know, you feel something when you defeat the bosses, you know, like all of the Sinister Six. You know, when you come back with your head in the grave, basically, you know, as they just run amok in New York, and you're like, Spider-Man can't have that, so, you know, you just do what you're supposed to do, you know, you defeat all the Raft inmates, you know, you do all this stuff, and then the final battle, take care of your old mentor, put him in prison, and then that's where, you know, you get the shocking reveal, as I was speaking of earlier, of Aunt May obviously dying, but knowing that her grandson, that one that she raised as her own boy, knew of all of this time that was Spider-Man. And to me, that was the greatest reveal of all time, because, you know, it was always, you know, in the comics, or, you know, in the comics or like in the movies, you know, there would always be like, does Aunt May know that, you know, her own boy that she raised as her own son is Spider-Man, you know? And in this game, she knew. And the game has a heartwarming scene, albeit sad, but, you know, it's still a great scene. And then you get the reveal that Harry is obviously dying from cancer, but the game sets up for something far greater, you know? Obviously Miles Morales is out and I haven't seen anything of it, but you know that Harry has symbiote on him, because you can tell by the black goop when Norman Osborn touches his the glass, and, you know, and it's just something that, you know, is sad, because we all know, well, if you guys have seen the movies or the comics, Harry is Spider-Man's best friend, even though they tend to be, you know, albeit very competitive with each other for MJ or whoever it may be, Spider-Man 3. You know, it's just something that is, you know, fresh and, you know, going to be in our minds for a while. This game, at least. I feel like this game will transcend time. Everybody will be talking about this and Miles Morales until, you know, 10, 20 years in the future. You know, they'll bring up, our generation will bring up, hey, do you remember Spider-Man on the PS4 or Miles Morales on the PS5? You know, as stellar top tier Spider-Man games, because this belongs up there. You know, every time that, you know, anybody talks about Spider-Man, they always talk about how great Spider-Man 2 was, or, you know, how great, you know, the Marvel movies and, you know, just any form of media. Well, I guess Amazing Spider-Man 1 and 2 were decent. They weren't the best, but, you know, any media consumed by all of us, you know, was, you know, a great thing to have. And, you know, I feel like this game well, I feel like it won Game of the Year in 2018. I'm not so sure, but if it didn't, it should have, because this game is very much so amazing. And, you know, guess right now you can get it on the PlayStation Store for, I think, $40. You know, that brings all the DLCs and the main game, you know. And like I said before, like, the DLC really improves upon everything. It talks about, you know, obviously this game, morality, you know, point of view, and everything that you see in these, you know, literature, you know. It's important to, you know, develop your own distinguished ethics, you know. And I feel like this game does a very good, you know, very good job of, you know, showing Spider-Man's morality and his duality as a person, both as Peter Parker and Spider-Man. What I mean by that is that this game does a good job fleshing out Peter Parker as a character and Spider-Man at the same time. Peter Parker, the lab geek who did not mean to do that there, that wants to help everybody, you know. And then you have Spider-Man, you know, the friendly neighborhood Spider-Man of New York, you know. And, you know, it does well to really just put you in the shoes of that and say, hey, this is what he's going through. And, you know, even if, you know, even if that's the case of, you know,
People are still trapped. Need to help fast.
Sorry. Pressing circle on this. Hey. Sorry. Sorry guys. I'm getting distracted. But, you know, just in general.
Someone's trapped in that car.
Yes, I see that, Spider-Man. I'm trying to do that right now. I'm an idiot. But, you know. Okay, there we go, sorry. But yeah, it's just, yeah, they do a good sense of morality and, you know, everything to do with,
Carl crushed that pedestrian if I don't do something.
I don't know why I did that.
Hold on.
There we go. And he's out.
That's everyone. Glad I was here to help.
Okay, back to what I was saying. But yeah, just you can see that he wants to help his mentor because Spider-Man's, you know, ethic is to help well, his attitude is I have to help out the people who are less fortunate than I am, you know. And he does that. And his mentor wants to, you know, albeit unreasonable, you know, methods at a time where he descends into being a full-on, you know, villain, still has. And what's interesting about this Dr. Octopus, now that I'm saying it, is that he knows that Peter Parker is Spider-Man, but he never tells any of the other anybody. He doesn't tell anybody else. He doesn't tell them. He doesn't tell the other members of Scorpion, Vulture, you know, Martin Lee. He doesn't tell them, which to me is astonishing because, you know, usually when you have a whole superhero identity, or when you have the identity, you know, they would tell the other members, you know.
Sit with that for a while.
They would tell, like, you know, in Civil War in the comics, I don't know if you guys have read it, you know, Spider-Man unmasked himself in front of everybody. And now they know who he is, and they start attacking people who are close to him. You know? Something that Captain America in the comic book was formally against, because he knew the risks. And, you know, it's just an interesting dynamic in seeing that he knew, but decided not to tell anybody.
Pigeon target acquired.
You know?
No, there it goes.
Which, to me, is just an interesting choice because, you know, that hasn't been done in a very long time. Well, I shouldn't say very long time. Well, that's an unusual case. Because every superhero, or supervillain I should say, you know, would kill to find out who they're facing. You know?
Spider-Man, you're a prince. This just found Vanessa in the law.
I love these names. Is Sandra happy to see them back?
Well, actually, she's not with us anymore. Cancer, you know.
Howard, I'm so sorry.
Oh, it's okay. Life for living, not moping. First thing she told me after the diagnosis. Gotta remind myself that every now and again. Keep looking, buddy. Finding the rest of these birds that really mean a lot. Thanks, Spider-Man.
That's a prime example of the duality of Spider-Man and Peter Parker. Spider-Man helping out the less fortunate, you know? And might I add, this game, you know, has a lot of enemies that you can just try your luck at, you know. The demons are one of them. Sable's guys are another one.
I'm not with those guys, but I'm still gonna kick your butt.
You know, which is great to see because, you know, every other, you know, I remember playing the Spider-Man 3 game when I was a very young lad, you know, it was just a lot of enemies, which is a sight to see that is good in this type of game, because, you know, you're never just getting one enemy type, you're getting a whole bunch of them, something that this game does very well to include. You know, you're gonna have to change your style. You may die a lot if you're playing on the hardest difficulty, you know, which is great to see because, you know, and might I add, the weapon wheel is just basically I'm straight out of an MMORPG, and I will really just mess up your whole day if I have everything just leveled up. It's a great dynamic to, you know, everything. All those suit powers and everything, a welcome addition, you know, something that we didn't know was going to, well, granted, what would you consider overpowered in a Spider-Man game? His own knowledge, basically, you know, whatever he can put his mind to, but, you know, which is great, that you'd have, like, the web shooters, the concussive blasts, spider drones, you know, stuff you'd see, like, in the movies or, like, the comic books. He does. And, you know, just my personal thing, I would love to see a 2099 Spider-Man standalone game to see how well that
You know
does.
that feeling when you try to help,
You know?
you just end up bruised and exhausted? Yeah.
Me personally, I would love to see that happen because, one, 2099 Spider-Man is my favorite Spider-Man of all time. Two, the way how they would play out in his future is great. You know, we'd get to see, I don't know if you guys have played the Shattered Dimensions game on the PS3 or Xbox, but the list of villains that were in the 2099 Spider-Man universe was fantastic. Hobgoblin, a female Dr. Octopus, Scorpion, you know, all of these, like, you know, villains that we know, just in a different timeline, which to me, that sounds like my best thing ever, because, you know, it's just going to be a great thing to see. Hopefully Insomniac Games does that,
AI can tell me the most
and,
likely area where the victim is.
you know,
I'll tune my earpiece to
missing
listen for
car.
sounds of someone struggling. You okay?
oh, trying to find a missing person. But yeah, it's just, Insomniac Games has this reputation of, you know,
Hold on,
there we go.
I'll get you out. It's terrifying.
Who? Oh. Yeah, it's just something that I've really wanted to see for a long time. I don't know whenever we're gonna get it, but that'd make me the biggest 2099 Spider-Man fanboy, because, you know, that I started loving the 2099 Spider-Man because of the game Shattered Dimensions and a Fracture. No, I don't remember the other one, but, you know, it was still a great game and had, you know, versatility and all of the Spider-Men that were there. You know, the final boss being Mysterio was a great twist. Not great twist, but a great added feat by them. And, you know, I just feel like, whoa, okay, calm down there, big man. But, you know, just something, you know, welcome to see, because, you know, albeit they just finished, you know, Miles Morales. I don't know if they're gonna be adding any DLCs for Miles Morales. If they do, that'd be great, you know, because I'd love to play that game sometime soon. And, you know, it's just something to see a future Spider-Man universe, which sounds typically awesome. And yeah, that's just something that would be something. I said that already. What else can I talk about this game? Having a script would have really helped me out here, but here I am just babbling on about random shit. Yeah, I guess that's it for the video. Hope you guys enjoyed. Like, comment, subscribe, and you know, I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace out.